Have you ever woken up in the morning, looked out your window, and watched the soft sunlight gently shining through the curtains? It's a quiet moment, and it feels like the whole world is at peace. I believe that after 60, many of us have come to treasure mornings like that more than ever. But here's something we don't always realize. Some of the things we do in those peaceful mornings, things we've done for years, might actually be silently harming our health, especially the brain, where we hold our memories, our clarity, and the people we love most. Hello, my dear friends. My name is Professor Richard Caldwell. I'm 70 years old, a neurologist and geriatric health specialist, and a regular contributor here at Senior Health every day. For over 40 years, I've worked closely with patients in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond, helping them protect their brain, their heart, and their independence. And today, I'd like to sit down with you, almost like we're having a warm cup of tea together, and talk about something truly important. These seemingly harmless morning habits can actually triple your risk of stroke after age 60. Now I know, when we think of a stroke, we picture something sudden, something that hits without warning, but in reality, it often builds slowly, quietly, through small things we do every day without even thinking. It's like a small leak in the roof. You don't notice it at first, until the damage is already done. But what if I told you that just by changing a few simple things in your morning routine, you could lower your risk starting tomorrow morning? Today, I'm going to share with you 6 common morning habits that millions of older adults are doing right now, not realizing they're quietly putting stress on the brain and blood vessels. As I go through each one, habit 1, not drinking water first thing in the morning, just coffee. My dear friends, the very first habit I want to talk about today might seem small, almost harmless. It's this: waking up and skipping water and going straight for coffee. Sound familiar? I imagine many of you are nodding right now because I used to do the same thing. And honestly, so did many of my patients over 60. A hot cup of coffee is how they start their day. Some even call it their sacred morning ritual. But let me explain this gently and simply. After a full night's sleep, 6 to 8 hours, our bodies lose water. We lose it through breathing, through our skin, and through natural processes that happen while we sleep. You may not feel it, but inside, your blood is getting thicker. And thick blood, it flows more slowly. The slower it flows, the easier it is for tiny blood clots to form. And if even one of those clots travels up to the brain, that could be a stroke. Now, coffee, as comforting as it is, can actually make this worse. Coffee is a mild diuretic. It makes you urinate more, which causes even more fluid loss. So coffee doesn't count as hydration, especially not first thing in the morning. Let me tell you a true story. I had a patient named Walter, 68 years old. Healthy, active, no major problems. But one morning he felt a strange numbness in his right hand. It passed quickly, so he brushed it off. A few days later, his wife noticed he was slurring some words. He came to my office. We ran some tests, and sure enough, he'd had a TIA, that's a mini stroke, a serious warning sign. When I asked about his morning routine, he told me, "Doc, I don't eat breakfast, I just drink coffee, been that way for decades." Well, we made one small change. Now every morning, Walter starts his day with a glass of warm water, just 8 ounces, before the coffee, and his brain health, stable, steady, no more warning signs since. So here's my advice to you. When you wake up, before the coffee, before the pills, before the news, drink 1 glass of warm water. That's the first gift you give your brain each day. It's a simple habit, but it just might help protect you from something as serious as a stroke. Habit 2, taking a hot shower right after waking up. There's something I know many folks do every morning, because it feels warm, comforting, and relaxing. And that is taking a hot shower right after getting out of bed. To be honest, I used to love that feeling too. That warm water running down your back on a chilly morning. It feels like it washes away the stiffness of age and brings a little comfort to the body. But that's exactly why I need to talk to you about this today, with care and with the perspective of over 40 years in medicine. You see, after a long night's sleep, our bodies are still in a kind of sleep mode. The heart, the blood vessels, the circulatory system, they haven't fully woken up yet. Now imagine stepping into a hot, steamy shower. It feels wonderful on the outside, but inside, your blood vessels are reacting strongly. In younger folks, the body adjusts quickly. But after 60, our blood vessels become less flexible. Our ability to regulate pressure slows down. So when the body suddenly meets that high temperature, blood vessels can expand too quickly. That might cause your blood pressure to drop suddenly, which can make it harder for blood to reach the brain. On the flip side, if you already have high blood pressure, that heat might actually trigger a strange spasm or spike, sending your pressure dangerously high. I remember one of my older patients, Mr. John, 72 years old. He had a mild stroke, right there in the bathroom, no warning signs. He had just finished his usual morning shower, stepped out, and collapsed. Later, when he recovered, he told me, "I shower the same way every day. It wasn't anything unusual. But sometimes it's that everyday routine. If it's done at the wrong time, that can quietly become the trigger. So here's my advice. Don't rush into the shower first thing after waking up. Give your body some time to fully wake up. Drink some water. Do a bit of gentle movement. Let your heart rate stabilize. Then, and only then, habit 3, sitting still in bed or on a chair too long without moving. My dear friends, after we open our eyes in the morning, many of us have a habit. We sit quietly on the edge of the bed, or maybe we move to our favorite chair and just stay there. Some of us scroll through our phones, checking the news or looking at photos of our grandkids. Some of us just sit in silence, thinking about the past, old jobs, old memories. And you know what? I understand that completely. After a long night's sleep, it's natural to want a quiet moment, a little time to ease into the day. But here's what I need you to know. If we sit still for too long, especially after age 60, our bodies can quietly pay the price. You see, after lying down all night, our blood flow slows down, and if we stay seated without moving, that slow blood starts to pool in the lower part of the body, mostly in the legs. When that happens, it becomes harder for blood to return to the heart, and even harder to reach the brain, especially if your veins are less elastic, which naturally happens as we age. I remember caring for a lovely woman named Margaret. She was 74 years old and lived alone. Her morning routine was to sit on the bed for at least 30 minutes before standing up. She had no idea that this quiet little habit was actually starving her brain of blood and oxygen. She started to feel lightheaded, tired, even forgetful. It wasn't until she almost fell in the bathroom that her daughter brought her in to see me. From that day on, she changed her routine. Now every morning before even sitting up fully, she starts with simple movements, rolling her wrists and ankles, stretching her arms and legs gently. Then she sits up slowly, rolls her shoulders and neck, and only then stands up. No rush, no pressure, just a few quiet minutes to get her circulation going, and it made a real difference, so I hope you'll try this too. Tomorrow morning, before you reach for your phone, before turning on the TV, Give yourself 2 or 3 minutes to gently wake up your body with a few simple moves. When the blood flows freely, the brain feels sharper, the heart works easier, and the whole day feels better. Growing older doesn't mean making big changes. Sometimes, just listening to your body for a few minutes is all it takes to change your life for the better. Habit 4, jumping out of bed and moving too fast right after waking up. My dear friends, in the last section, we talked about how sitting still too long in the morning can slow your blood flow. Now I want to talk about the opposite, jumping out of bed too quickly and rushing into strong movements right after opening your eyes. I know a lot of people who are naturally active. They wake up and immediately spring out of bed, stretch hard, walk straight to the kitchen, or even start exercising right away. It sounds healthy, doesn't it? But for a body over 60, that kind of energy can be more dangerous than you think. You see, while we sleep, our blood pressure, heart rate, and circulation slow down to help us rest. Your brain and heart are still in sleep mode. They're not ready to speed up just yet. If you suddenly sit up or stand too fast, your blood hasn't had time to move up to your brain. Your heart hasn't adjusted to the new rhythm. And what happens next? Your blood pressure can drop suddenly. You might feel dizzy, lightheaded, or even faint. I had a patient once, Mr. Donald, 69 years old. He used to get up quickly every morning, stretch and bend down to tie his shoes, all in a matter of seconds. One morning, he got dizzy as he stood up and fell right beside the bed. Thankfully, it was just a fainting spell. But when we examined him, we found that his brain vessels were already weak. Had the fall been harder, it could have caused a brain bleed. Since then, he's followed my advice carefully. Now, every morning, he stays in bed for a few quiet minutes. He moves his wrists, ankles, stretches gently. Then he slowly sits up, lowers his feet to the floor, counts to 10, and then stands up. It might sound simple, but that soft startup is exactly what the heart, brain, and blood vessel. Habit 5, checking the news, social media, or emails too early in the morning. Dear friends, let me ask you something truly and honestly. When you woke up this morning, what was the very first thing you did? Did you reach for your phone, open Facebook, check your email, scroll through the latest news? If the answer is yes, then I really hope you'll listen closely to this part, because it has everything to do with your emotional well-being and heart health after 60. You see, after a long night of sleep, your brain is still in a state of half asleep, half awake. Your cortisol levels, that's the stress hormone, are naturally rising to help your body wake up. That means your brain is extremely sensitive, and anything emotionally heavy, any kind of negative input, can hit you harder than you realize if the first thing you see is bad news. War, illness, inflation, politics, conflict. It's like pouring gasoline on a fire. Your heart rate spikes, your blood pressure shoots up, your blood vessels tighten. In medicine, we call this acute internal stress. And believe it or not, it's one of the lesser-known triggers for strokes, especially in seniors. I remember a patient of mine, Mr. Harold, 68 years old. He loved the news. Every morning, he would sit for hours in front of the TV, scrolling through headlines, arguing in comment sections online. One morning, right in the middle of typing a comment about politics, he had a minor stroke. The doctor told him, "It's not because you're old, it's because you put your brain under pressure too early." So what should we do instead? Rather than rushing into the chaos of the world, give yourself the first 10 minutes of the day just for you. Sit quietly with a warm cup of tea. Listen to your breathing. Watch the morning light peek through the curtain. This isn't luxury. This is a small ritual for your mental health. Because, friends, a new day shouldn't begin with stress. It should begin with peace. And that peace is the most precious gift you can give yourself after 60. Habit 6. Taking blood pressure or diabetes medication without eating breakfast. Dear friends, in all my years of practice, there's one thing I've come to realize. Many people are very good about taking their medication, but not so good at eating breakfast, and that, my friends, as harmless as it may seem, can actually lead to some serious health risks, especially for older adults managing high blood pressure or diabetes. I remember asking Mr. Jerry, 72 years old, one of my long-time patients, "Jerry, do you eat breakfast before taking your meds?" He looked at me and said, plain as day, "No, Doc. I just take my pills with a cup of coffee, that's it." And I could only sigh, because honestly, that's a routine I've heard from so many people over the years. But here's what happens when you take blood pressure or diabetes meds without eating. Your body drops into a low-energy state. Your blood sugar drops, your blood pressure drops, and guess what? The brain is the first to suffer. You might feel dizzy, lightheaded, weak in the arms or legs, or even faint. And yes, in some cases, a stroke can happen just from taking your medication on an empty stomach. On top of that, an empty stomach means the meds don't absorb as well, and some pills can irritate the lining of your stomach, leaving you with pain, fatigue, and discomfort all day long. So here's what I tell my patients: you don't need a big breakfast, but you do need something: a slice of whole grain toast, half a banana, a few almonds, or even just a spoonful of yogurt. That's enough to protect your brain, to support your heart, and help your body start the day strong. In our later years, it's not just about taking the right medicine. It's about taking it the right way. And the best way to do that is to make sure your medicine, dear friends, if you're still with me at this moment, then I believe something inside you has already begun to shift. Maybe it's a quiet concern. Maybe it's a spark of new awareness. Or maybe you're just starting to listen to your body a little more each morning. And if that's happening, then I want to congratulate you, because that is the very first step toward real health after 60. I'm not expecting you to change your entire life after just one video. All I hope is that starting tomorrow morning, you'll drink a glass of warm water before your coffee. You'll move your hands and feet before standing up. You'll have a light bite to eat before taking your medication. You'll wait just 10 extra minutes before reading the news. To give your mind a peaceful start. These things may seem small, but they touch your brain, your heart, and your blood vessels. And they can help you avoid what no one ever wants to face. And if you found these tips truly helpful, please click the subscribe button right below this video and join us here on Senior Health Every Day. This channel exists for one reason: to help you, the people who have spent a lifetime giving to family and society, live your later years in health, peace, and purpose. Each week we'll bring you new videos about nutrition, movement, disease prevention, memory care, sleep, and inspiring stories from older adults all across America. So please hit that notification bell so you won't miss a thing. Let us be by your side, like a friend, like a caring doctor, every morning. And if you have a question, or you simply want to share your own morning habit, leave a comment down below. My team and I read every word, and we're here to listen and respond. Take care of yourself, not for anyone else, but because you truly deserve to live in health and peace.